Hi guys, it's your girl Tamkin Spies, and I am here to talk to you about tools and tech for body and beauty. And in today's episode, I want to talk to you guys about financing. Obviously, this stuff costs money. Plastic surgery costs money, Botox costs money, fillers cost money, skin treatments cost money, devices cost money, everything costs money. And I want to talk to you guys about how I went about financing and paying for all the different stuff that I talk about here on my channel. I'm going to start with some of the earlier cosmetic improvement journeys from, my younger days. One of the first major purchases that I made for myself was my first time doing liposuction. I will probably make another video about liposuction. I haven't posted one yet, but if I do, I'll promise to link it. When I was in my early 20s, I had just lost the weight from college, and I was finally, starting to, feel a little bit more confident, but I still had a little bit of a pooch in my lower stomach that was really hard for me to get rid of through diet and exercise alone, so I decided to go ahead and get liposuction. Obviously, I made some other mistakes of even trying to do this, which I'll talk about in my other video, but I had to finance this decision because I, at that time in my life, was not really making very much money, but this was a really important change that I wanted to make with my body. So what I did was I called the actual office that was going to be providing me the service, and I asked them for their financing options. And I thought the way that they financed it, which was really kind of shady, was they just asked me to go apply for this specific credit card, and it was the Discover It credit card. It was actually, I think, one of my first credit cards that I ever applied for. So, I called and I said, hey, I want to get, credit card so I can pay for this plastic surgery. And they asked me, how much do I need? And at the time I only needed like $2,500 was the cost of the procedure at the time, because I was doing lipo under local anesthesia. And they gave me an $8,000 credit limit. And so that was like the biggest credit limit I ever had. Obviously, the interest was really high. It was like about a 17% interest. And I have some major regrets in that area because obviously I just wanted the liposuction so badly that it really didn't matter. And I thought, whatever, I'll make $200 a month payment. I'll pay it off in, 10 months, 15 months. Like, no. That credit card ended up, you never read the terms of service, but that credit card ended up being a huge burden for me for many, many years until I finally ended up paying it off like around 2015. So my first liposuction I did, I was like, 23 years old? Yeah, 5 years. It took me 5 years to pay that off, which is ridiculous. Like I should have just not went out to eat and just got my liposuction. This is just one of many ways. Obviously, you can pay for cosmetic procedures with credit cards, you can do care credit, you can do in-house financing, and you can save the money on your own. And then there's additional programs for international cosmetic procedures as well. So that was my first procedure. I used just a plain old credit card. If you don't have one, you can call, they'll probably give it to you, but just know what you're doing, know what you're getting yourself into before you screw yourself over in that regard. The second time I financed procedure was when I got my BBL, which was maybe 1 or 2 years after that. So at this time, I was actually going in to support somebody else who was going to go get liposuction, but then I found out that the doctor also does the BBL procedure. Once I make that video about that cosmetic journey, I will link the video here. So the BBL procedure at that time was only $4,000, and I thought it was just an offer I could not refuse. I really wanted to get the BBL. The person I was going to support, they were going to go get lipo. We could go do it together. It was, the timing wasn't right because I, again, didn't have the cash. So what I ended up doing was I actually ended up scraping together a whole bunch of different credit cards and coming up with the $4,000. So I put down $1,000 cash. I put the other $1,000 in 3 separate credit cards. So obviously, thinking about it now, I was like, what was I doing? Like, really, I was gonna just max out all my credit cards so that I could get a BBL. It's really disappointing for me to think about now, but at the time, I was young and it's something that I really, really wanted. And also, I was in a really toxic relationship at that time, and the person I was dating was very emotionally abusive and would kind of put down my figure or talk about my body and was really encouraging me to get this procedure. So I ended up, maxing out all my credit card to get this procedure because of kind of like a little bit of weird pressure I was under. And, looking back at it, it is what it is, but that was one of the ways that I did it. So the other way, kind of in the same vein, this time I'm going to talk about care credit. So around the same time, I also decided to get my teeth straightened. So I wanted to get Invisalign. And the way that I got Invisalign was actually through care credit, which is actually, a lot of people use care credit to be able to finance their cosmetic improvement procedures. The Invisalign was the first time that I used care credit. And again, going back into that time in my life, I was really young. I was not making a lot of money. I was a secretary, working at a smaller company. And I was under a lot of pressure because I was with a really toxic person as a partner at that time. And that person put a lot of pressure on me to get straighter teeth because my teeth were not fine the way they were. And this person actually had offered to pay for my Invisalign. And it ended up coming to the point where it was time for me to get it. This person backed out. I ended up using care credit to get my Invisalign. Now that I'm talking about it, this is like super fucked up. Like, I can't believe I allowed myself to be treated like that, Now, as a mature adult, as a woman, as a boss bitch, I would never. I don't have the time of day, motherfuckers. You fuck around and waste my time like that. But anyways, yeah, that was just a situation. And so I got care credit, and fortunately care credit has, when you first apply for care credit, you probably get approved for whatever procedure you're doing because the doctor actually helps you do the application by filling out what it is. So they know that it's a legit thing you're doing. And for me, I actually got the first 6 months of zero interest. So I tried to pay as much as possible for those first 6 months. And I set myself up for, okay, if I wanted to pay off my Invisalign in 2 years, I had to pay $200 a month. So I set it up on auto pay for $200 a month. And eventually at the end of the year, I got some money back from my taxes, and I used that to kind of pay off the rest of my Invisalign. So that was a time where I used Invisalign to do it. So as far as like some of the more recent stuff for the Botox, the fillers, I mean, if you think about it, like, it's so easy to just get $4,000 of filler. I mean, my face has about $5,000 of filler in it right now. And if you count the Botox and filler, I have like $7,000 of injectables in my face right now. So it's what it takes to look beautiful sometimes. And all this stuff recently, I'm just paying cash. I'm not getting into those situations anymore. I'm not, obviously the care credit worked out really well. I put it on auto pay, it paid off. The interest was really low. The Discover card ended up being a complete mess because I thought I was only going to use it for that small liposuction, but I ended up losing my job for a little bit of time, and I ended up using that Discover card to get a cash advance and pay rent. I ended up, making my regular payments on it, and I noticed that my balance was actually going up, not down. And it's because they take all your money and put it towards your lower interest items and leave your higher interest items to continue accruing. And that was kind of something that screwed me. Going back, scraping by across multiple credit cards, I'm definitely not doing that again. I definitely think going forward, cash is king for me. If I'm able to afford something, I will pay for it in cash. And I actually, at this point, set a budget aside because I know how much money I spend on my beauty procedures. So I already know that I need to have about $1,500 a year for Botox. I already know that I need to budget about $2,000 to $3,000 a year for fillers, and additionally probably $600 a year for hair and skin items. So, I mean, it's not very much information, but I just wanted to share with you the different ways that I financed my cosmetic procedures and what I've learned from each of these. And also, if you're in a weird relationship where someone is making you feel like you're not beautiful the way you are, fuck that motherfucker, and know that you are beautiful exactly as you are. And this channel is to love you for you and just provide you information for whatever your journey may be. So with that, if you like videos like this to talk about tools and tech for body and beauty, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting below because it really helps my channel as a small YouTuber. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.